Thanks for joining. Yeah, happy Wednesday. It's kind of a dreary day here today and pretty cold, but it's bright. I'll take that. Um, Bright but dreary. That doesn't make sense, does it? It must be the reflection off the snow. Um, yeah, so it's March already. I can't believe I was all confused last week when I went on live and I was like, okay, it's almost the end of the I can't even think of the word. Oh my God. The promotion for the stamping positioning tool. And then I was like, wait a minute. Is it starting in March, not in February? Because it felt like it was only on for like a few days or a week. February just blew by. I cannot believe how fast it went by. I can't believe it's March. We had such nice weather through January and a bit in February, and now it's all snowy and cold. So it's throwing me off. Anyways, so the promotion is done for the starter kit. You can always still get the starter kit, just not the stamp and positioning tool. I haven't heard anything about whether the tool is going to be available now to everybody else or how that's going to work. So for this month, we we have all the great new releases for the online exclusives, which I have shown many of them. I did a bunch of pre-order sneak peeks, and I'm going to use a bunch of them today along with my texture fun. So we do have some new papers that are kind of specialty papers, and they're beautiful as is, but why not make them even more beautiful, or why not have fun with them? So I have some techniques today using the specialty papers, and sorry, the dogs are going to bark here in a sec. Yeah, why not take them one step further and make them even more beautiful than they already are, or just give you some ideas on how to use them in other ways other than just using them flat. So yeah, and then I'm going to use them with some of the new products that are available as online exclusives. You can go into the store and go on to the online exclusives and it'll show you all the new stuff. There is a ton of new stuff, and I have put in multiple. I probably bought way more. This is probably the biggest online exclusives products that I have bought from. I've bought, like a couple things here and there from the online exclusives, but yeah, this is probably one of the bigger ones. So yeah, so I feel like I'm forgetting something, but that's okay. I'll come back to it. I'm going to turn us around and we'll just start crafting. If you haven't already subscribed, or if you enjoy the video, make sure you like down below. That will help us grow our community. All right, here we go with the awkward transition with my, I don't know, it's the easiest to do with my hand. I'm sorry, it just gets in there every time, and I feel like this is going to flip over for some reason. I don't know why. All right. There's such a lag in my video compared to, oh, there we go. Oh, that's weird. Okay, now, I don't know. Anyways, hopefully it'll catch up. All right, so for my first, well, let me show you the papers that I'm featuring today first, the specialty papers. The one is called Wood Grain Wonder. I believe these are all, I meant to pull out the online, hang on, my little online exclusive printout. Because there is one other specialty paper that's not from this. And of course, my printout is, oh, here it is. Okay, I knew I had it here somewhere. Okay, so these are all the new online exclusives. So, and don't go buy my printout because my blue ink is clogged and isn't working. So I'm pretty sure that they are in here, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're from, maybe they were already out. Okay, so one is the, yes, so Wood Grain Wonder, Lunar Luster, and then the Pastel Shimmer might be from, I feel like it might be from the mini catalog. Yeah. So this Pastels Shimmer is from the mini catalog. It comes with Lemon Lolly, Pretty in Pink, and best of all, not least of all, Pool Party. And I don't know if you can see in the light that there it has a shimmer to it. There are two sheets of each. Yeah, so for a total of 6. So 2 of each of that. Then the Wood Grain Wonder is quite a large package, 12 pieces. And it's, I don't know how many different colors, but it kind of repeats. Like there's a dark and then a slightly lighter, and then there's this one with a, like this one, and then there's this one with this one. So you can do multiple sides. I don't know if you can see it. So it's not textured wood grain. It's just a wood grain print. And the paper is papery, but it still has a bit of a different film to it. And when you, well, you'll see, we're going to put some ink on it and it kind of resists the ink a little bit. And then the Lunar Luster, I think I've showed this, is I pulled out, because I still had some of the galvanized paper that we had long ago, or tin, or I can't remember what it was called. And this one is, I thought they were the same, but they're not. This one is quite thin. It's not like thin, like it's still, it's thinner than regular cardstock, but it's a good weight. And it's just a nice kind of matte, not matte. Would you call that matte? It's like, it's got shine. Anyways, those are the 3 we're playing with. So I'm going to start with the Lunar Luster, and it just so happens it pairs super well with this cute stamp set that's in the online exclusives. It's called the Moon and Back. I had missed it, and then I saw someone using it. It's like, oh, that's super cute. And I don't have a lot of the, I was tempted to buy the astronaut stuff in the past, and then I didn't. They were big sets. This is just a simple stamp set, and so when we had free shipping, I caved. Okay, so I'm pulling in the, I mean, part of my whole texture thing is using embossing folders, because it just makes it, you know, all the techniques with embossing folders, and then you can add techniques with these specialty papers. So we're just like one step further. So I thought that this swirly, I was torn between the circles, but I thought they were a little bit too raised for what I want to do. This swirl kind of reminds me of the Milky Way kind of look. So I thought that would go well with the Moon and Back. This, I believe, is out of the annual catalog. It's still available. And then we have our Lunar Luster paper, and silly me did not get my Big Boss prepped. I told myself I was going to pre-emboss these, but I didn't. So this embossing folder is not a 3D embossing folder. It is a thinner one. So with the thinner one, we use the #1 plate, the thick plate, and then we use 2 clear plates. I keep 2 non-cut plates for my, not that you'll really get the print on it, but, and then just put it where you like, kind of where the swirls are. And then I always put it so that the folded edge goes through first, because if you do it from the back end, if it kind of buckles, it'll put all the pressure on that edge, and it can crack and break over time. I don't think it would break, you know, if you did it the very first time kind of thing, or maybe if it was extra tight, or depending on your pressure. But anyways, just something to think about when you're using your embossing folder. Okay, so then you've got this one, kind of the two sides are pretty similar. However, the thinner lines are on the, I call this the positive side, and to me this is the reverse side. So the right side, or the positive side, is the one with the Stampin' Up! Logo, and then the reverse side would be that back side. So we're going to use the positive side, and then we're going to take our sanding block. This is super old. Stampin' Up! Used to sell these. I believe they have them on Amazon, probably at Michael's. It's just a really fine sanding block. And you want to come in and you're going to sand. So I don't know, you can already start to see. I don't know if you can see. So part of it is kind of lost its shine. This paper is lunar colored, I think, through. It doesn't look like there's a white. So you're not going to get white showing up, but you will get a more matte finish. Now, I'm going fairly amount of pressure, but you don't want too much pressure that it starts, because there is some, like especially in the area where there's big open areas, you don't want to go too hard because you'll end up rubbing that off. So my goal with using the sanding paper is to kind of break the seal of the paper, that sheen, and then that way my ink can sink in. Okay, so I've got all the nice sanding dust. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but so it's matte and then shiny. So that alone gives it a cool, different look, but we're not going to stop there. How can we stop there? I'm going to you could take your big stamp pads, but with them being foam and with these being a big area, you run the risk of hitting your ink on here. Now, because it's shiny, I did not test this. Let's test this on a smaller piece. Now some, like if you were using, say, glossy cardstock, you could wipe it, most of it. It'll still have color there. So if we're on here and we go to wipe it, it pretty much wipes off. So if you did get some on, you could wipe it off. How do I know if it's a 3D? Okay, it is feel. You can definitely feel the difference, but on the actual embossing folders, it'll say, I'm pretty sure all the 3D ones say 3D on them, but even just feel wise, like this one is much thinner than this one. So the thicker ones, and you can also see it, like this isn't very raised, like whereas a 3D one would be quite a bit deeper than this. But yeah, normally they're labeled 3D is the easiest way to know what you're working with. Okay, so I'm going to use these just because to me it's easier. So I've got Gorgeous Grape and Night of Navy, and I'm going to make myself an outer space Milky Way. You can call it that. I just feel like I have a bit more control with the smaller and the harder felt, which is a bonus of the new ones that are coming out that are going to be felt. Now I'm a little bit worried about the photopolymer and stamping with the harder pads, but we'll have to wait and see how it all goes. All right. I think that should be good. Then I can take, now I would kind of let it, well, if you let it dry, it's going to be hard to wipe the shiny part. So you could, and if you really wanted to get the shiny part clean, you can use a wet wipe to wipe that off. Or if you don't mind having the silver part have a bit of color, you can just come in and give it a wipe, and then it kind of bleeds onto the silvery part, but I don't mind that. So, but you know, you have the option like here where there's quite a bit of blue, you can, oops, I'm hitting the edge of the, you can wipe some of it off. So it just depends on the, if you're looking for a really clean look, you might not want to go and wipe like I just did. But be prepared to get messy. This is a messy one. I must like to get messy because I always like these technique things the most. All right, so then, isn't that cool? So you've got this still has a bit of shine once you put the color on it. Not as much as the silver part though. So it kind of, I think that looks cool. Anyway, so then I'm gonna put a Night of Navy behind it. I'm going to glue, oh, I need to cut this down. I'm going to glue this down and let it kind of sink in there while we do the rest of the card. Okay, oh, I wondered if I hadn't cut enough on, oops, this side of things. Okay, so we've got that. We'll put some glue. Now, I was torn about my moon that I was stamping. I'll show you in a sec. I didn't know if I should stamp white embossing powder onto more of this lunar paper, or where did my stamp go? Oh, here. Okay, so I've got my moon. So I was trying to decide, do I stamp white onto silver, or do I stamp silver onto white, or do I stamp blue? I ended up choosing to do silver on white, but I think white on silver would pop probably maybe even better than this, because it wouldn't take away from the background as much. I wonder if that piece I had out is big enough. You know what? Why don't we try that? Why don't we try this one with the white, and then I can show you what it looks like with the silver. One of each. And before I put that down, I better not forget. I don't know how, we'll also test how this paper does with embossing powder. And I know when you have a shinier paper, you do want to be careful right when you're first putting your stamp down. Sometimes it wants to slide. So make sure you put it straight down. And usually once it sticks, then you're good. It's not going to whoosh around on you. Oh yeah, I wanted to put that down. Okay, then I've got my white embossing powder. It's like scratching my nails on a chalkboard. can get my heat gun here. I'll just heat it up for a second here. So I don't think it's like, I mean, it is thinner. I don't think it'll buckle the way, say, vellum paper does, but just in case, we'll do a bit of heating first. There we go. Still shiny, still good. Okay, now I did discover that this moon fits very nicely in a 2 1/4. If you don't have a 2 1/4, you can totally fussy cut it. Those of you who know me know that I am not a fussy cutter. If I can get away without it. See, like this just fits. You could also do, I didn't have a 2, what did I say this was? 2 1/4. I didn't have a 2 3/8. I only had a 2 1/2. So then I would have had a big, oh, I should have stamped my inside first. Oh well. Okay. Well, I've cut my moon out. So on my other one, I stamped with Night of Navy on here, but I don't know if it'll ever dry fully. But I don't really want white. Do we want white again? I guess I kind of, should I try with the blue? Or should I just go straight to white? I'm going to try with the Night of Navy. Could use Stays On with the black. You could use a blend, you mean a blending brush with this? You could, but then you're going to be brushing ink all over the rest of your, just because it won't. You could use a sponge dauber and just follow the lines. Yeah, but a brush is going to get into all the nooks and crannies. So that's the only reason I didn't use a brush. But you could use a brush and then wipe it if you were like did a part of it and then wipe. Or if you wanted it all colored and you just had the, you know, like the shiny part would just be shiny but colored, and then the more matte part would be colored but less shiny. You could totally use. Okay, so it's there. I'm gonna let this, I know I'm gonna have to let it dry. Let's just heat it a little bit so I reduce my chances of smudging it. I don't know if it'll ever dry fully to not smudge, but we'll let it dry and see. All right, so it was as simple as that. I put the two together. So this one is the one on white with the silver moon. This is the silver with the white moon. I think I like the silver on the white. It pops a little bit more. I don't know. They both work. Do you guys have a preference? And then I don't have, there are stars in the new online exclusives with the little soccer suite. So if you have the star embellishments from that, you could use those. I still had these ones from Halloween, I think. Shimmer Star foam stickers. They were from one of the Halloween suites. So, I mean, the purple would work. I don't know about the black with, unless I did black here. But the white, this is where I used the white. I do think I like the white better now that I look at it in the green, like what you guys are looking at. What do you think? I think this, I don't know. I want to know what you think, because I feel like I think the white maybe just pops more, but here the moon pops more. I don't know. All right, that's card number 1. That's technique number 1. I thought that was, you know, you could do that with any embossing folder and any colors and have fun with this lunar luster paper, I think is what it's called. Okay, so let me move this stuff out of the way. Okay, we're done with these. Okay, the next one is using the pastel shimmer paper. And I had almost missed this. I missed the stamp set. I almost missed this embossing folder. This is one of the embossing folders that is available in the online exclusives. I don't think it's part of, it might be part of one of the suites, but I don't think it is because I'm pretty sure I tried to, because I was trying to figure out how I missed it and I couldn't find it. If we look in the back here, like I don't think it's part of, it didn't tell me anyways. Oops, not that one. Oh, there's also a new product of the month available. So there's the Ladybug Picnic one, which is super cute with the ladybugs. So you could use that. And then there's this Lazy Daisy 3D embossing folder, which I had missed. And I can't remember if it's part of, no, because I didn't get any of the floral suites, but it's not part of any of the suites. So it's a standalone, this Lazy Daisy. And it's super cute with all the daisies. And this one is a 3D. And then I thought, what it would go so cute with the Easter bundle, which is in the mini catalog. You like the white on the left? Yes. Okay. I do too. I should have stuck with my original. I just wanted to see what it looked like with the silver. Anyways, so I thought this would look cute together. I think this would also look super cute with the Cutest Crew bundle, which I'm going to use next, which has the dogs and cats and birds and stuff. But this one I decided, since I was using the shimmery paper, that's what led me to wanting to use this, because they were such Easter colors with the pink and yellow and blue. So I took a piece of the yellow shimmer paper, and once again, I'm just going to run it through, this time using the 3D sandwich. So I've got my Big Boss, and I'll take these out. I still have the number 1 plate. I'm putting my folder edge forward, and then the gray number 4. So there's only 1 plate with the base plate when you have the 3D folder. And then we get this fun, super cute daisies. Now, there's lots of things you could do with this. If you go back and you look at all my embossing folder techniques videos. But for this one, I'm going to use the reverse side. So my daisies are in instead of popping up. And I'm going to use, it makes it so that I can color the flat edge of this, if that makes sense. Except, yes. Now, I can't remember if I actually, I think I did sand this just to, because I don't think it, again, that it'll really sink in very well. So now here's the trick that I almost forgot. I'm getting ahead of myself. So I'm going to put this back in, and I had lined it up kind of with the lines here. So if I can find that, it'll be easier to find its groove. Okay, so now we're in the groove here. I'm going to close it like that. I'm going to fold it over, and then I'm going to open it so that it's sitting flat. Now, part of the reason for that is that way I'm not pushing down, and I should technically only get the outside of the paper and not, it won't push down and get the flowers. And once again, when you hold it up, I'll take it out when I'm just trying to make sure I get everywhere. When you hold it up to the light, you'll be able to see that your flowers are shiny. Now it'll hit some of the raised, like the centers and stuff, but the flower petals themselves are shiny, and the rest is a little bit matte, again, just like the lunar luster. Now you could leave it in your in the embossing folder to make sure. If you have a brayer though, it's pretty easy just to, as long as you're light-handed. If you're worried about being too heavy-handed and pushing down and messing it up, keep it in your embossing folder, because you can always just rinse out the embossing folder afterwards. So then I'm just going to take some purple. I'm going to take my brayer, and I'm going to put that ink. Ooh, I think I need to oil it up. It squeaks away. I washed it, and I must have, some of it must be rubbing. So you can go over it quite a few times. You could with this one, because there are so many, there's not a big open spot to fall into. I can't speak. Into. You could just rub your stamp pad over. But with a brayer, you're pretty much guaranteed to not get anything into the, like there's no marks in your flowers, and a very clean, you get a nice clean look. So I'm just going to quickly wipe this, because I have to use a different color on this for my next. For the next one. All right, make sure I don't have color on me. And once again, you're going to want to let it dry a little bit, because I mean, unless you really sand it, and it still has a bit of film on it, right? Like it's not just regular cardstock, but that's where sanding it helps get rid of the shine film that stops the ink from sinking in. I mean, this just changes, like, you go from a look like this, which is, I love this. I love subtle. Like, this is super busy for me. So it was funny. I was showing my son the cards that I'd prepped for this, and I'm like, do you like any of these? And he liked the same one I did, which was like the last one that I'm doing. The simplest, not busy, but I do think this is pretty, especially, I don't know if you can even see it on the video, but the flowers are just super shiny, and then you've got that pop of purple. So that's a fun part of it. So then I just cut out a basket out of the two-tone crumb cake. So I used the light side for the basket, and then I used the dark side for the little edge to make that pop. There's also slits in the dies that you can weave and make it look like a basket weave if you really want to take your time with it. But I thought because my background was already super busy, I didn't think I wanted to make it busier with a basket weave. And then I found this so busy. I could put like a white or something behind, but I decided to cut a second basket out of vellum, and I'm going to use that piece here just to kind of tone it down a little bit. So just the outside of the basket is, or you could just put a white piece here instead of the vellum. And then I did the Highland Heather to match the purple. And then I did some grass for inside my basket. And then I stamped, I'll just show you because it'll take too long to cut and do everything, but I stamped the Easter bunny, and it also has the eggs, and I just colored it, and then I stuck them in the basket with the Happy Easter. Isn't that cute? It is a busy background, but it's such a cute background. All right, that is card number 2. Okay, let's move that out of the way. All right, card number 3. I am using this Cutest Crew, like I mentioned. This is one of my favorite of the new online exclusives. I'm not a huge cat person, but these cats are so cute, and the dogs too, and even the birds. I don't know, I like the hand-drawn simplicity, and then you have the dies that cut these all out together, but then you can also get separate birds and separate cats and separate dogs and the flowers, and then you have the paw prints and it's such a cute set. I think this one is back ordered already. There's actually quite a few that are, I think it said March 23rd was their expected back date, but correct me if I'm wrong. I know as I'm pretty sure even as customers, you can put your email in if something is out of stock, and they will notify you when it comes back in stock. So you can always do that if you have your heart set on something and you don't want to miss out on it. I mean, you don't have to, like, if you've already done something else by then, you don't have to buy it. It just, they let you know that it's there. Okay, so then I've got a piece of the wood grain, what is it? I can never remember the name of it. Wood Grain Wonder. So there's this one. I actually decided, I was hoping that one of the other sets was going to be here because this was kind of where I was going with the wood grain. But the Cutest Crew ends up working with it too. But there is, I think it's in the mini catalog. There's some aspen trees or I can't remember if they're birch trees, aspen trees, whichever. And I realized someone was using them the other day, and I did not realize that, because I was like, oh, I already have, like I have a background of tree one, but they're actually separate trees that you can kind of organize as you want. So you can make a whole forest, you can make a single tree, and they just, like, you can stick them all together, or you can stick just one or two. So they're very versatile that way, and they're photopolymer versus red rubber. Okay, so then we have the birchwood embossing folder instead. Since I couldn't get my stamps, they're supposed to arrive today. Everything is backlogged these days. So you always want to make sure your Stampin' Up! Is facing up, and then you know which way's up and which way's down. Not that you couldn't use, but just like this paper that has two different sides, you want to make sure that the side that you want the bumpies on is facing the right way. And then, now I'm trying to remember which way that is. Okay, so, wait, this bumps up. So, oh, I totally, oh no, I'm just thinking of something else, I guess. Okay, so I want this side to have the what do you call it? The bark indents up. Would it make more sense if they were in? It would make more sense if they were in, wouldn't it? So if I go this way, we could do it like that. All right, let's do this. Okay, so I'm going to put my paper here, but before I do, I'm going to just put just a small piece of adhesive, and I'm going to put my paper where I want it to be, which is like so, but not crooked. Okay, and here we're not sanding, but we are going to take our brayer, and we're going to take our black ink, Memento, and we're going to brayer. I apologize for the squeak. And you might want to, the whole reason we stuck this down is so that if there isn't enough ink the first go around, you can do it again. So I want this straight, and then we're going to put this down, and we're going to run it through. Sorry, I'll just run it through over here, so it's, I got to do it a couple times. Ugh. So this one is a 3D folder as well. So you can see it's kind of not solid, which I would like a more solid look. So I'm going to come back, and I'm going to put more ink down, and we're going to close it, and we're going to run it through again. Running it through helps press the ink into the paper, and like I said, so this paper has a bit, it's not like a shiny sheen, but it's shiny enough that it takes a bit for the ink to sink in. So I'm going to do it a third time. And you just want to go as many times as it takes to get a nice color of what you want, as dark as what you want. Okay, I think we're getting there. Now another option you have is to add a bit of water, but if you add water, it'll mess around. So I think this is pretty good. I could probably do it one more time, but I don't think we need to, because even in if it gets sticky, I'm gonna rinse this out in the sink anyways, so that's okay. Just set that aside. Okay, so then I've got my bark, and I don't know, because it's still bumpy, you can't see it as well, but I don't know if you can see there. You can see the grain through. So yeah, I probably should have run this through again to get a more solid look, because then you see the wood. I'll show you the one I did, and I did the other one on this side, and I sprayed it after the fact, which does put down more ink, right? Because you're going direct to paper. So it did get a bit more saturated, but I also got a bit of ink on the sides. So that wasn't, it was good, but it wasn't good. So I've got my piece of birch or aspen or whatever. For those of you that don't know, we had 2 dogs, we're down to 1, but they were Willow and Aspen, and we named them after the trees because Willow was golden mountain doodle, so she was all gold. And then when we got Aspen, she was black and white, and so we had Willow already, and so it's like, hey, what goes with Willow? And Aspen looked like an aspen tree, so that's how we came up with the names. All right, went with trees. So for this one, I took the Just a Little Hello, and we will use the white embossing powder again. All right, heat that up. And then this punch fits very nicely. It is the sign design. It is in the last chance items list. I did not check today if it was still available, but it was still available the other day. It is on sale. I think it was 20 something instead of 30 something. But it just, watch, this just, I don't know, it fits with this birds perfectly. So anyways, we have Just a Hello, and then, actually, I'll just show you the card. You don't need to see me color and cut out. So I stamped the birds, and then I stamped them with Memento, and then colored them with my blends. And then I just put them on top of the Just a Little Hello. And then so you can see this birch was raised, and I don't know if you can see, you can totally see the wood grain here. But, and the black knots do usually come out, but they're also more inset. So when I did this one, I did the reverse. But I feel like this one just has a smoother look to it, but you can see I did get some ink because there is big spaces. So if you just kind of like rock a little with your off of it, because there was nothing here to hold on to it, then you can get a bit on the paper. But I think I would have had to go over this a few more times. I feel like if I wanted to get the same look. Although from far, like, I don't know, does it look, because maybe it's just in person, it looks quite a bit different. What do you guys think? I feel like they're Just a Hello. Doesn't matter which way it's popped. You probably can't even see it, really. I can see it from here. I don't know if you can see it on video. anyways, those are some different things you can do with these specialty papers. So just taking kind of the embossing folder ideas and then adding them to the specialty papers. Where did my last card go? My Easter card. Here it is. All right, these are my cards. Hopefully that inspires you to pull out your embossing folders and to play a little with whatever. I don't know about you, but I have a cupboard full of specialty papers. You could do it on foil. Paper foil would be the most forgiving in terms of extra ink on it, and you could just wipe it away. And then our foil has the white underneath, so when you sand it, it'll really soak in. Like you'll have like a bright, I would use bright colors, and then you'll have the silver kind of behind it. There's just so many things that you can do with embossing folders, let alone specialty papers. So if you have some specialty paper, try and maybe sand it or think about ways that you could add on to it and get some cool textures. All right. Hopefully you have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Bye. Oh, don't forget to like and share if you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Bye.